Yeah.
Hey guys.
Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Oh man, what a so of course go to get on my computer, my internet goes out.
Well, that,
That's
my
Murphy's
friend,
Law.
is Murphy's
Yeah.
Law.
I know, dude, and I'm running around, and I live out in the boonies on Vancouver Island, so I'm literally running around trying to find the magic spot where I have two bars, so I can actually get enough power to bust
Like that.
it.
Brian's like constantly the whole
In
thing.
there.
Exactly. So here I am. I don't know how we did it, but yeah, good to see you guys.
Well, you made it. We had kind of a mess up on our end too. I did something weird to the link, so that might have been part of the problem you were having. But we're all here now, so
Woo!
welcome to the little podcast that could.
We made it. All right. How you doing, Todd? I haven't seen you in a while, buddy.
Dude, it's been a minute, hasn't it? I think that you were on my podcast, the Toddcast, right before COVID or right around there. Like it's probably 3 or 4 years, man.
I know it's been a while for
And of
sure.
course, I've been, like always, just kind of watching from the sidelines, just blown away at how my buddy Brian Howes is a fucking monster in the industry.
Thanks, dude. Well, we go way, way back, man. We've had a lot of fun together. You know, the old parties at
Yeah.
Chad's old house. Remember?
Dude, I mean, we've had some crazy moments together. Like I was thinking this morning about that one show when you guys did Closure.
Yes.
At the Richards on Richards.
Oh yeah, I love that place. What an awesome!
And I hosted that night and backstage with you and Robin Diaz and all that.
Yeah.
And just what fucking crazy night that was. How drunk we were backstage, and you guys were just so incredible live. Like it blew my mind that band. I mean, obviously it spun into what you're doing now, but like I thought the Closure was going to be the next Nickelback.
Well, it's funny. That's a funny story how that all happened. So, after DDT, right? All those years of getting DDT, signed to Elektra and doing a bunch of great tours with Kid Rock and got to tour all over the world. I'd been on the road since I was 15 because I've never had a job in my life. I've always just been in bands, and I had been touring for so long. I was like, I like so many different genres, and I should be a music producer because then I can make a country record, I can make a rock record, I can make a pop record. I would always get in a band. We work hard to get signed, then we make a record. I'm like, I want to try something different now. So right around Closure is when I discovered, I should be a music producer. And DDT was on tour with Megadeth. And Dave Mustaine and he kind of became my mentor and said, dude, you're a very talented kid. You need to do what's in your heart, and what's in your heart, I think, is to be a music producer, be a writer and producer, and do that instead of being on the road grinding and out. And so he talked me into it. And right at that time, I went, okay. I know, crazy, right? Having that guy as your mentor. So then after that tour, I quit DDT, and then I had no money, and grinding it out. So I did a demo tape. And with Joey Moy, who I just met, and he produced a demo tape, which would become Closure. And I go, I just want to do a demo tape to try and get a publishing deal so I can actually survive while I make this transition. So I sent this demo tape out, and we had a bidding war from every major label. It's like I didn't want a record deal, and I had 10 of them on the table.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when it rains, it pours sometimes.
Exactly. You go your whole life wanting one, and then, this is so easy. I don't even want one, and they're all coming. So I went, you know what? Let's go for one last hurrah with my buddies. We'll go out with a big bang, and we sure did. It was fun.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was that the turning point then for you after that? Is that how when you decided that you wanted to sort of follow what sounds like more like your passion, producing? Is that fair?
I wouldn't say it's my passion because I love playing live. I think I spent so long on the road, but I like so many different genres of music. That was the path for me to explore that and, make different kinds of rock, from alternative to like metal to country, some country records and stuff. I just liked great songs with great singers, and that's kind of why I really wanted to make that transition. But I loved playing live. It was all the downtime in between the travel and stuff where I couldn't be productive that I wasn't loving. But after all the years on the road, I definitely had to make that move.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Brian, what would you say was the project or maybe the song that kind of put you on the map as a producer?
Definitely Lips of an Angel from Hinder.
Yeah,
That was my
huge.
first really, really big one. That was the first record I did for a major label ever, where a major label trusted me with a record. Because Joey Moy and I were production partners, and we did a lot of development projects together, like Faber Drive and a bunch of stuff. We worked out of Chad's studio in Abbotsford, and
Mhm.
I would commute from downtown Vancouver all the way out to Chad's every day. That
That
was a
for
long
people who
drive
don't know that, that's at least a 45 to an hour drive minimum each way.
each way.
Wow. It's
Minimum,
quite
Yeah,
the
like
commute.
let's say hour and a half to be nice.
Yeah.
yeah, with the traffic and stuff. So,
Yeah.
and then right around that time, started working with Hinder. Joey had to make a Nickelback record, so I went and made the Hinder record at the Armory in downtown Vancouver, which is Bruce Fairbairn's amazing studio that did Thunderstruck and all these great songs and all the great bands that he worked with. So we did that record, and then the first single was "Get Stoned," which came out and did really well. It went number one at Rock and sold about 500,000 records. And then "Lips of an Angel" came out and just absolutely exploded. And that was the kind of the big moment for me, the big bang, I guess.
Well, you also co-wrote that record too, though, right?
Yes, yeah. Me, the singer Austin, Cody, the drummer, and I co-wrote all the songs. Yeah, and we rented
That's awesome.
a cabin up in Whistler and filled it full of booze and other fun things, and spent 2 weeks writing a record.
Right. So, what's the mindset? Do you go into doing a project like that differently as a producer versus a songwriter, or no?
I would say, yeah, they're two kind of separate things. As a writer, you just kick back with acoustic guitars and really, I call it the campfire moment where you strip the song down to just the basics to make sure it's still amazing. So without the production, you want the song to still sound like a hit. You don't want any boring parts. Like make sure all the melodies, the lyrics, and all the chord progression is great. And then once you have that as a base, then the production is just going to make it even better. But I always like to start the writing process stripped down.
Hmm.
Interesting. So, you said that you've collaborated with Hinder, you've collaborated with Nickelback, almost every name in the industry. But what are some of the most memorable collaborations for you?
Well, the one I just did was so I just made a brand new Airborne record, and we did it in Australia, and
Nice.
I was there for about 4 months, and we used ACDC had a studio in Melbourne, and then all the gear that made all those records with Bon Scott and Brian Johnson got moved to this studio in the jungle by Byron Bay, which is an amazing place, a beach town. So the owner of the studio loves Airborne and let us use the studio. So we set up shop there for about 3 months, and it's in the jungle of Australia, filled with eastern brown snakes, Sydney funnel web spiders. We're talking the most poisonous creatures on the planet. And the legendary Mike Fraser engineered it along with my engineer Carl. So me, Fraser, Carl all flew to Australia for 3 months with the boys in Airborne and set up shop on ACDC's like private gear, and we just made this incredible record, which is about to come out pretty quick, actually.
Sounds like a horrible experience, Brian. I'm sorry you had to do that.
That's a project taking one for the team, right?
Yeah, and it was right in the dead of winter. It was like right around, I think a year ago next week is when I went there to start doing pre-pro. But there's some
Okay.
crazy stuff there. Like there's bats the size of eagles. There's like ticks that are airborne, and Frey's got a tick in his neck because they're just flying around, these ticks, and it embedded in him, and we had to go get it out, and it was swelling up. Like they call it the devil's playground because there's just everything that's alive there can kill you, even the frogs.
Oh my god.
I guess you take the good with the bad. You take the AC/DC stuff with the ticks. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
exactly. The amazing Aussie rock, but we had a blast and we made a great record. So that was a crazy experience, and yeah, I think we captured that kind of energy on tape. Actually, we went to tape too, which was pretty cool. And
Mm.
That's
and there
cool.
was like 3 or 4 tropical storms where there was eucalyptus trees falling all around us. One, we thought we were going to get the studio crushed, so we had to hide under the piano, and just the experiences we had making that record and then trying to capture it on tape. It was magic for sure.
And
Yeah.
there's something about that, right? Like going to tape as opposed to digital. And there's like a sense
There
of
really,
urgency, right? Like you need to make sure that this take is fucking dialed. We can't go back and punch
absolutely.
something
100%, dude. You got to capture the essence of it. It's all about the energy, and you got to nail it. It's like old school. And because there's only a certain amount of rolls of tape and a certain amount of time. But these guys are great musicians, and we just really dug in deep. They brought us semis worth of amps and guitars, and we tried every combination. And of course, Mike Fraser, who did every AC/DC record from Thunderstruck on, mixed and engineered all of them. He's an absolute legend. So just
monster.
being able to spend 3 months with him in the jungle, we had the best time drinking Australian beer, making Aussie rock. It doesn't get any better than that.
That's killer.
That sounds cool. But Brian, what happens when, or does this happen when you are working with an artist and you don't feel that connection? You don't feel like you did in Australia with those guys. How do you get it
Then
going then?
it's kind of my job to find the common ground and to manufacture that energy. And after a lot of years of practice, back in the heyday of American Idol, when it was a massive show, I was always the first one in to write with the top 3 winners. So whether it be Chris Daughtry or David Cook or Kelly Clarkson or all those, and they called me the Idol Whisperer because I was really good at getting that energy out of them and getting them excited because sometimes they come off the show and they want to make punk rock records. It's like, yeah, I want to make this credible, like Radiohead kind of, Operation Ivy record. And I would talk them out of it, say, no, you sold your soul to soccer moms, buddy. We got to make some hits. We can have the energy of that with some cool guitar parts. So I was always really good at bringing that out of somebody. And by the end of the session, everybody's pumped about everything and we have a really good direction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And is it important to direct them, like you said, into that genre or role that everyone's expecting from the American Idol winner or runner-up or whatever? Or do you ever let them branch off and do their punk record?
I think right out of the gate. So my job is to try and capture what they want with what will work for them and their brand. And I was always pretty good at, kind of finding that middle ground that would be commercially viable to the fans of the show, but also something they can, because you can never force them to do something. It just won't sound authentic. And it has to sound authentic and have it that cred kind of thing for those guys. So I think I would always try and find the middle ground. Take what they do and then just make it a little hookier. That was my job.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever turned a band down that you later regretted?
I've never turned a band down, but I've been so busy where I let something lapse that I couldn't I passed on it because I was just too busy doing something. There was a couple. Train came up to work with me, and I was in the middle of the second Hinder record at the time, and I think the singer's name is Pat, and
I'm
we
on
wrote a
him, yeah.
couple songs, but I was running between cutting guitars in the studio and then coming back and writing with him. I never got to put my full attention on it, and he's such a good singer, so I kind of bummed out about that. And honestly, my biggest not regret, but kind of a bummer moment was I got to work with Beyonce, and
Mm.
I was in the middle of a Simple Plan record in Vancouver, and she called my publisher and said, I really want to work with that white rock dude in Vancouver, she said.
Which one?
so that he calls me and goes, dude, can you fly to New York tomorrow? And I'm right in the middle of a Simple Plan record, the big one. And I talked to the guys. I said, look, man, I'm not going to abandon you. Let me just go down over the weekend and see what it's all about. So I flew down. We wrote a song together. It was an amazing experience. And she's like, her favorite artist is Alanis Morissette, and Jagged Little Pill is one of her favorite
Yeah.
records. So she wanted to make this rock kind of hybrid hip hop thing. So I was really pumped about it because I love blending genres. And we came up with this amazing idea and stuff, but it took a couple days, and then I had to go back. And then I went back, and I'm like, oh, if you can just wait, I'll finish this record, and then I'll come right back down. She goes, yeah, no problem. And of course, it took 3 weeks, and then she moved on, and I kind of missed my opportunity with her. And we had a good vibe too. It was so cool, and she was so nice and so talented, and so that's one of my bummer moments, I guess.
Yeah, sure, fair enough. And you were talking about Pat Monahan from Train and how he's such a great singer. I think it was you, or
Oh,
maybe it was Joey Moy, had talked to me about the fact that Chris Daughtry is probably the most talented singer you've ever worked with. Is that you? Like, is Chris Daughtry like one of the best singers? I think it was something, I'm paraphrasing. It's either you or Joey had said something like to the point of like, even a shitty song, he sings so well that he turns even a bad song good.
yep. That was probably both of us, actually, because we both got to work with him. Yeah, he could sing the phone book and make it sound hooky. He's such a good singer. So I would always call in the assistant engineer to sing the melody back to me to make sure it's hooky enough. Because when he would sing it, everything sounded hooky. And then you're not sure if it's actually that good because he just has so much conviction in his voice. So, but honestly, the best singer I've ever worked with, of course, was Chris Cornell. And I sent you that song, the unreleased. I have an unreleased Chris Cornell song. Remember I sent you that,
Right.
Todd? I'll
Yeah,
send it
dude.
to you, Mandy, too, as well. I'm waiting for it to
Like,
come out.
so good.
That he
Yeah.
is the best singer I've ever worked with, hands down. We spent a week together. We wrote the song together, and then spent a week in the studio. And he had the flu at the time and went to sing the vocals. And I had written most of the melodies, so they weren't even his melodies. And he did a one pass from the top of the song to the end, and it was amazing. Like, it was perfect.
Yeah.
And he goes, do you want me to do another one? I'm like, I don't really need another one, but you could do another one. So I got 2 passes, and I got this world-class vocal out of him.
Wow.
Unbelievable singer.
That's amazing. It kind of ties into my next question. So, you mentioned Chris Cornell, you mentioned Daughtry. Is there somebody else or another album that you're especially proud of?
Oh, yeah, I would have to say probably the Boys Like Girls record that I did, where we got Taylor Swift on a song. So she came in and did a duet with the singer of Boys Like Girls, a song called Two Is Better Than One. And she was so nice and so cool. And she just took the song to another place and elevated it. And it was funny because at the time she had released a song. I'm not even sure. It might have been Trouble or something, or maybe one before that. And so this song was competing with her song. And I remember her manager not being very happy because this song actually went #1 and blocked her song from going #1. And it's probably because of her.
Awesome.
So, but
So good.
that was a really cool moment, blending the singer of Boys Like Girls with Taylor. And then we had David Campbell do strings, who's Beck's dad. He's an amazing string arranger. So we had the LA Symphony do this amazing arrangement, and he did the conducting and stuff. So that, I think that song was just such a work of art, kind of fun, mixing all these different things together, and it really came out great. So that was probably one of my favorite moments for sure.
And the stuff you've done with Skillet must be up there too. Like, those guys just fucking clobber. It's insane.
Do you know what's crazy is they're a Christian rock band, and they've sold 22 million albums.
Like,
Isn't that crazy? 22
Wow,
million.
that is crazy.
yeah,
I
it's
know.
No
nuts.
doubt.
It's and they just keep going because they sell CDs, they sell physical product, and they stream like crazy. And I did Comatose, which was the record that transitioned them from completely Christian market to, it was their Atlantic Records debut. And I remember diving in on that record. I did that record in Chicago, and we really focused on making the songs like, if you aren't a believer, it could be about a girl, or if you are a believer, it could be about God, like keeping it kind of open to whatever power you look to, or whatever motivates you and gives you, spiritual uplifting. It doesn't have to be religious. So we kind of really did that with all the songs, and that was the transition record that kind of broke them to the mainstream, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Let me ask you real quick, and I'm sorry, Mandy, I feel like I'm
Okay.
asking every question here, but you just mentioned working in Chicago, and of course you
Yeah.
work on the island. You fucking come to Vancouver and work at the Armory. You go to New York and all
Yep.
that. How long did
Yep.
it take you to like get accustomed and used to being in another studio, or is that not even a point?
You know what? I've done so much of it. I've worked around the world, in Nashville, every studio in LA. I'm just kind of used to it, and I always make sure my engineer is so good at adapting and that kind of thing. So studios always have the same kind of boards in them, like a Neve board or an SSL or something like that. So I think just the experience of being thrown into different situations, you get used to it, and I kind of like the excitement of it. To be honest, I don't know what I'm like when I wake up in the morning. I don't have anything planned, and I kind of just wing it, and I've always liked that. I like the chaos. I don't know. I don't want to know what I'm going to do in the next hour. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's good.
Is that a way that you avoid like a creative block? Do you ever get a block, or is moving around all the time kind of keep things fresh for you, or how do you manage that?
That's kind of exactly it. It's like you never know what situation or who's going to come work with you or something. It just keeps that energy flowing. And I've never really had a creative block, or and it's always different genres too, because I did some stuff with Keith Urban in the country world.
Mm.
Got some Def Leppard stuff coming up, and then it'll be like a band called Jailer from the UK that sounds like Zeppelin. They're all teenagers. They look 70s. We were talking about that. Like you just never know
Yeah.
what the tide's going to bring in. Tom Hanks.
That's
Yeah,
great.
exactly. Yeah.
Let me hit you with the back to the Riches on Richard show with Closure and all that.
Yeah.
Pretty small venue overall. Like it's maybe a five,
Yep.
700 person
Yep.
room kind of thing. What's the biggest band that you've seen in a smaller room?
Ooh, I would say it was. What was that club that was called down by BC Place? Remember, it used to be down that. Oh, it was right by the exhibition grounds. There was a club in the '90s down there. I can't remember the name of it, and it was probably
Oh,
about a. Remember? It was like
yeah,
five
right on the waterfront
500.
there.
Yes, yes.
Why am I
It
blanking
was
on that name? I know what you're talking
I know.
about.
I can't remember. 500 seater, and I saw Foo Fighters and Radiohead playing for label people there, and it
Wow.
was there was maybe 50 people there, and I sat on stage and watched the Foo Fighters and Radiohead, which was so sick.
Sounds okay. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it was
And
incredible.
with the
yeah.
DDT stuff being signed to Elektra, or it was actually wasn't it like Lars's record label, Lars from Metallica? Did he have
Yes.
much like hands on in that world, in the DDT world?
So yeah, so Lars at the time started a label, his own vanity label through Elektra Records, and we were the first signing. And it
Right.
was crazy because being his first signing, our name was instantly everywhere in Rolling Stone and Billboard magazine, and it was just crazy. And he was so hands on because he was so into it at the time. He was tired of Metallica and wanted to do something different. So I basically moved in with him in New York for a minute in his place down there, and he was basically my mentor in the music business. He taught me all about labels, how they work, how the marketing department works, how radio works, and we did this whole thing together, and it was an incredible experience. But he was completely hands on with us, and yeah, it was an awesome experience. It really was.
You
Yeah.
still
How do you
are,
manage that in your personal life? Do you find that being in the public eye like that is something that you enjoy, something that you try to avoid? What's it like for you?
It's kind of like all of the above for me. Like I love playing and I love performing. And then the traveling, I do love it, but after all the years of grinding it out, like I said, I started out in a cover band when I was 15, so I've toured since I was 15, and just played any little dinky city or town you can name in Canada or the U.S. I've played it, and so I think by the time I was ready to quit the touring and stuff. I miss playing live, but I don't miss the touring part of it. But I just love it. I love the business. I love everything about it, and I do it every day. It's like my hobby, my love, my passion, everything.
Yeah,
That's cool. Can you tell us a little bit about something that you're working on coming up? You mentioned Jailer and a few other things. Is there
yes,
something that
Leopard.
you can tell us
That's
about what's
huge.
coming up?
Yeah, well,
What's that?
I just finished the new Airborne record, which is amazing. It really turned out great. We spent a year on it, and Universal UK is a big believer in it, so they're going to do a big launch on it. It's as authentic old school rock as you can get, and the guys are so talented. The songs are next level. They're basically playing these massive 100,000 seat festivals in Europe and stuff. So we're looking to break them in North America even bigger. That's the plan. And I'm just trying to think of what else. I'm going to Nashville. I'm working with a pop guy from Nashville named Carl Michael, who used to be. He was in what band was he in? The Wanted. He used to be in The Wanted, which is like a pop band. So he's almost like a brand new Bryan Adams kind of vibe. Really, really talented guy. And then also some country stuff. And then I'm developing a band out of Victoria that reminds me of Nirvana meets Smashing Pumpkins called Idle Lane. Very excited about them. So lots of stuff on the hopper.
Okay, Brian. We'll enjoy the
Absolutely.
day, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. We'll tag you when we're.
Thank you,
Okay,
guys. That
Brian.
was cool.